everyone, I am Yuga, and today we are honored to have a super guest. Prior to joining Arrivent Biopharma, Winston was a chief business officer at Celgene and director at Citi Banking Group. Over 20 years, he led over 100 collaborations, equity investments, and company integrations, totaling over tens of billions of US dollars, in which famous case is Pfizer's acquisition of White. Let's welcome Winston.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction, Yuga. It's great to be here today.
So, hi Winston, from your main experiences as a CFO, could you share what are the most important factors to consider when investing in banks?
Yeah, so I think as I understand your question, it's really how to select a bank when you're working with them. And I would say, I guess I'd contrast that to investing in a bank in terms of bank stocks. I'm certainly not well equipped to give good advice in terms of investing in bank stocks, but I can certainly offer some thoughts around how to work with different banks or how to select a bank. And I think in terms of different types of banks, they do different things. And if you're looking for a bank to park your money, obviously people care about the rates they give you, but I think equally important is just the level of service they provide you in terms of if you've got questions or if they have people in person or the hours that they offer. I think as a company, when we select banks, I think we also look at those sorts of things, but I think it's also the full suite of services that a bank can offer a company. And for example, there are some banks that are great in terms of putting your deposits in. There are other banks that help provide you advisory services, capital raising services, and the like. And so, there are different types of banks that serve those types of needs. And so I think those are the different qualities I certainly look for when working with a different bank.
I see. For university students, they need money for tuition, courses, rent, and etc. How do you suggest them on saving more money?
So I would say there are a couple of pieces of advice I was given along the way in terms of saving money. I think that still holds true for university students as well. Obviously, one, if you're thinking about how to save money, obviously it comes out of your expenses and how you sort of think about what you need to spend on things versus what you want to spend on things. And I think the other advice I would suggest is just in terms of if you're thinking about putting money in the market, if you've got extra money in the market, what advice I was given was put it in the S&P 500 index. I think that's probably over the long term a good place where people have seen appreciation over time.
I see. Okay, so it has been quite a few years since you graduated, but what is the most memorable experience you had in Brown University and Harvard Business School when you were a student?
Yeah, I would say there's probably one common theme between going to undergrad as well as going to a business school, which is really the people that you get to work with, the people that you get to learn from, and the people that you get to know and build friendships with. I'd say overarching, most memorable is just around, how you form relationships and who you really get to know during school. And I'd say obviously doing well in school is important, but I'd say the most lasting memories and what's been most important to me has been really the friendships that you develop over the course of being in school.
So, when you first entered those universities, what are some of your like emotions or like how would you feeling about going into those schools? Were you afraid, nervous, or excited, or looking forward to something?
I would say definitely when I first went to university, homesick. I went pretty far away from home from Vancouver, Canada. It was on the other side of the continent, and I'd say, certainly excited, but definitely a little bit homesick. And I'd say when I first went to business school, I was fortunate to already know many people who were already going there. So definitely excited to go there and, reunite with many friends and be a part of a great community of peers and obviously developing new friendships there as well. But probably less homesick at that age, but definitely when I went to university, I'd say that's probably the one thing I do remember, but was really lucky in that I got to meet a lot of really not only nice people, but super smart and obviously very motivated. And that certainly helped overcome the homesickness.
Yeah, that's great. Friends, that's what friends are there for. And friends are very
Absolutely.
supportive. Yeah. What is one major accomplishment in your career and how did you achieve it? What did you learn from it?
Yeah, I'd say probably one of the biggest achievements I would say is developing a team and creating a great team dynamic. And I'd say, these are not always easy. You work with super smart people from across the company. You try to build a sense of camaraderie when you work together. But I think sometimes the hardest part is really how to get people to work together, because sometimes not everyone agrees on what needs to be done or how to do it. And I'd say, I think to the one of your questions is what I really learned from it. And I think it's really learning how to find ways to motivate people, and then finding ways to get people to work towards a common goal, a common purpose. And I think by doing that, it certainly helps make it clear what we're all trying to achieve. And then I think that sharpens the focus, and that then gets to how do we want to achieve those goals, and then really figure out the motivational tools that really help people work together in achieving those things. But I'd say it's obviously easier said than done, but I'd say that's probably been the most, the thing I appreciate most and certainly most proud of in my career.
So, certainly, that people have different personalities and opinions when it comes to teamwork. So, do you have any advice on, for example, communicating with your team members in order to work towards a common goal? And is there often like challenges in interacting with them?
Absolutely. I would say first, just be clear on what the expectations are. Be clear on deadlines. Be clear on not just the expectations, but also what you're looking for in each person who's going to be on the team. And you have to lead by example if you're the leader of the team. You also have to be respectful of all the different points of view and not dismiss anyone's view, even if you might not disagree. I think you have to acknowledge everyone's contribution, and then being able to pull it together. And I'd say, I think when you do those sorts of things and people feel like they've been heard, they've been acknowledged, and it's also clear on how decisions are going to be made, it certainly makes it a lot smoother when you work together as a team.
I totally agree. Is there anything more you would like to share with our young audience, especially those who may target majors in commerce, financial, and investments?
I would say, knowing what I know now, if that's what you want to do, that's great. And I think just trying to find experiences that really not only demonstrate, but hopefully enhances your interest in those areas. And it doesn't always have to be a paid experience. I think volunteering at banks or volunteering and offering to volunteer to help people who work in those fields will only help develop your experience base, but also help you understand what parts you like and what parts you don't like, to really hone in on what part of business or commerce or investments that you might want to pursue down the road.
Thank you for your time, Winston. It was a very good talk with you.
Great. Well, thank you for inviting me to be part of your guest series here. And it's been very nice to speak with you as well, Yuga.
Thank you.
Great. Have a great day.